All right, Coach. Another night in the swag.
Another night in the
swag. And today was a better sense of urgency in spurts. And as you say, you're getting there, and at some point it's going to be an urgency over a full 40 minutes.
Yeah, we have, I mean, obviously it was a lot cooler in the gym today, so we were grateful for that. You know, we thank God for all of the little mercies and blessings that occur. So we're grateful for that, one. And two, we're still trying to find our sense of urgency throughout the whole game. You know, I think what happened a lot was, you know, we got a little tired, made some substitutions, and, you know, it shattered us. They pressed a little bit. They were smart about attacking our second lineup. And we got rattled, had a few unforced turnovers and then they went zone to slow us down because we were scoring off of every look at our offense. So I think those things, like, we kind of got so comfortable with how we were scoring, we kind of got pouty, and we wanted to pout because, oh, they went zone, we don't want to play zone, you know, like, oh, you know. And so it took us too long to adjust and get back to playing what we play. So we had a couple empty possessions, and you know, we weren't crashing like we need to, so we weren't getting second chance points. And again, until we win that column that says points off of turnovers and TSU is in the lead, it's going to be hard for us because they scored 18 points off our turnover. We only scored 8. And until we can get that down and under 10, it's hard to win any game. You know, they still shot more free throws than we attempted. You know, so like that, those are the things that, like, our discipline has to carry us, you know, to be better. And again, I want us to be focused on, because what I'm telling the girls, like, I don't talk about win or loss. We talk about perfected possessions. And that's our focus every time. Like, did we do it right? Did we execute? Did we like that? You know, were we comfortable? Did we dictate, or were we being dictated to? You know, so, like, I think that's the biggest thing that we continue to talk about. There was a few possessions that were crucial where we weren't in control. We didn't have the poise. We didn't have the demand. And when we get there, you know, it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. I'm grateful, though. I think our style of play is exciting for the fans. I think they're enjoying watching it. I think we're displaying a pretty decent style of basketball. We just got to keep getting people to knock those shots down and to not drop their head. You know, we get into that space, we're going to be really, really good.
Because that'll come, when that situation comes, you'll also win a game, but they'll also know what that feeling is like.
Yes. But one thing I'll say that's really going to, I'm sure it's going to come, you'll have to come back and find these clips, because our execution down the stretch, you know, when we have timeouts, stop go special situations, you know, our team is executing really, really well. Sometimes we're digging ourselves in a hole, but over the course of this year, regardless if we've been up or down, most of the time we're down in those situations, we execute really, really well. And I'm very, as a coach, to be able to draw something up quick and get, like, and for them to actually still score and get to the free throw line, and, like, that's beautiful. So when we start getting into a place where we're there, that's gonna, when everybody else is tired and fatigued and we start hitting our stride, that's really gonna come to play. And I love that, because as a coach and as a basketball coach who likes to think through strategy and things, to see my team executing down the stretch, you know, from timeout, special situation, getting the ball out, like, you know, I think one time they got a timeout called and he wouldn't even call it. They didn't know what they was doing. Their ref just called it for them, you know. But my team is sharp. We're executing. We know it. We're alert. And that's what you want as a coach, you know. Now, if I could get that if I can play possessions from hitting me, come to me, find me, give me, you know. But the stretch of the game where they're out there playing up and down too long, it's hard to always manage. We just got to keep getting better. Yeah. We're going to get it soon.
Are they getting better in situation as far as time factor? Like, you call a timeout, and then you give them a play, then you send them back out on the floor. It says, all right, once you get started, you got 3 minutes. This group as a unit.
Yeah, I think that we, out of timeouts, out of halftime, I think those are the times that we execute what we're trying to do really well, because they just got instruction. When we go in those lulls where we don't catch the media, we don't catch, like, I think that, like, they went to a zone. And again, you know, they went to a zone, we didn't have a timeout, so I'm adjusting the call on the fly. And then the point guard dribble, you know, everybody's in a little panic, saying, oh, they were in the zone. Like, yeah, okay, well, they were in the zone. Like, we know what to do, you know, to continue to execute. And then it takes us getting to the timeout. But in the midst of that, we're disappointed in our display, so we, like, letting them score off our turnovers, we're throwing it out, and they're pushing it. And again, it's like they played a little bit more excited than we did, you know, and that's the key to the game. The most exciting team usually wins. And I think that's just we have a different level of excellence that we're trying to obtain to, and that may be partially my fault, because our kids are always thinking about how to perfect the play right now. And sometimes we're getting lost in all of the other stuff, and sometimes maybe their head is getting down a little bit too much because we're not executing properly. But going quicker, because we talk a lot about resetting, like reset. That is something that is still a growth spot for us. In the game. And so some of those lulls you see, where we're not giving intensity the whole game is because we didn't started shrinking a little bit and we're mad about our mistakes and we didn't reset quick enough.
Now you made your homestand. Now you head out on the road.
Yeah. Well, we've just typically played better on the road, so.
It's because there's no stress?
We tried to make an adjustment with our pregame routine. I do think it was just a little too casual. Being at home, you can see family, friends, they on their phone too much. Like, we're on the road, we eat as a team, everything is more as a unit because that's what we always got.
Yeah.
Here, it's everybody, come to the game, you got my tickets, you got to, so-and-so, what would you doing after? Like, so it's so much. Girl, I'm coming to the game before you, there's a lot of distraction and we hadn't learned how to be as professional as we can be, and we're helping them with that. I think we definitely got a little bit better today because I think you can see we started off a lot more focused. So we made some adjustments as a staff to help them, and they were excited about it. Now, but you can't play the season, eat apple overnight and tell people all the time. So just because it got better, that don't mean it's at its best yet. So we have to keep going.
All right. With that, Coach, reintroduce yourself. We'll close this out.
I am Coach Skeete. I am the head coach of Texas Southern Women's Basketball.
This is Jerry Lee Woodley Jr., the College Sports Reporter, signing off. Thanks, Coach.